Welcome back to the Overwatch League, guys. Doa and Monte Cristo here. We are deep in the first day of stage 2
We're shallow in the first day. We're not even halfway through the depth.
We're getting through there.
We will be halfway through after this.
You can be deep without being more than halfway.
All
Depends on the overall depth, which in this new meta, thank you very much, there's probably a lot to talk about, which we will later. But for now, let's take a look at the season standings so far. Let's see where we're at here. Obviously, we've only got one stage down. We're not deep into the season yet, per se. But, you know, deep enough in there. We've touched our toe enough a little bit to kind of know
we're
how
as deep in the season as we are in today, in fact.
I was an arm mate. It's just percentages. I don't know. But anyway, we got some changes here, of course. Obviously, Batiste in the game now. We got Paris in the game as well. Not only as a team in the league, but as a map in the game itself. And some balance changes, too, that are going to make some differences. Obviously, we swapped up the map order a little bit as well. A little bit of housekeeping for you, but the main thing is we're going to have possibly some new strategies coming out. Let's take a look at some differences on these two teams here, because obviously Boston and Atlanta have gone through some changes as well. Big one for Atlanta, Baby Bay coming in, DeFran leaving as well. Note, traded to Dallas on the Boston side. What do you think about all this?
Well, we don't have a lot of time to get into this. I think the Baby Bay signing to fill the void by DeFran's retirement is an interesting trade.
Sure.
Baby Bay has always been a very mechanically skilled player, and we haven't seen a lot of him, mostly due to the meta, because he has been a long-range hit scan specialist. He did lack, I think, some good decision-making, but because it's been so long since we've seen him, there could have been real progression there that we don't know about.
Right.
Now, when RCK is joining this roster for the Boston Uprising, what does this bring? It brings more flexibility out of the flex tank role for this team. Is he going to be as good of a diva as Note? Probably not. But he is able to play Sombra, which is something that Note was not able to bring to the table earlier. So I think that with Boston's coaches, they're going to use that flexibility in his deeper hero pool, even if he's not as good at diva specifically.
True enough. Well, we've talked about them a little bit. The new addition. Let's give it up for our first team in this series. It's the Boston Uprising. Well, Boston Uprising, and I think when we go back and talk about that trade with Dallas, I think this might actually be one of those trades that ends up benefiting both teams.
I agree. I think both teams are going to win out of this, like I said, because of the depth that RCK adds to a roster where we haven't seen a lot of fantastic DPS play. So at least he's going to be able to play some more damage-dealing characters and allow the coaches to have a little bit more flexibility there.
Yeah, should be pretty cool. The other question is, of course, you know, how much time have they really gotten to practice with this guy yet? I mean, it's kind of a bit of a rush job to kind of have him join the team. Now suddenly you're playing on the opening day in stage 2. So RCK is going to need to adapt quickly to fit in with this roster, of course.
And of course, Fusion's coming in, a really breakout Reinhardt player last stage, but now we're moving more into a Winston meta where also Orisa is viable. So we get to see how deep Fusion's hero pool is, and if he can show us that same level of excellence on other tanks.
Right on. And so their opponents, a team with a strong stage 1. Can they do that or better in stage 2? Let's hear it for the Atlanta Reign. Atlanta Reign started the hashtag do it for DeFran. I guess that's the theme now for this stage. Obviously, DeFran moving over to more of a full-time streamer role with the organization, and you know they did bring Baby Bay over from San Francisco. They have FRD as well joining the roster. So some changes with this team who look pretty good in stage 1, but how do you think all these swaps are going to affect them here in stage 2?
I have to say, I'm really surprised to see FRD starting for the Atlanta Reign already, so this will be his debut. When we have such an excellent flex tank as Dako, that I think was one of the standout players on the Reign in their initial stage 1 where they succeeded in making those playoffs, it's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, that's right. And Baby Bay as well. A lot of people really kind of missing him on San Francisco. He's a big personality in the league. He was a great DPS player. Obviously, it was not a meta that really favored a lot of DPS players playing DPS heroes. but as we look at some highlights from before, this guy's definitely got some moves.
I mean, what was never in question was with Baby Bay was his mechanical abilities. This guy has some of the best aim in the league, but early on in his career, he did show questionable decision-making. However, last season after they picked up Architect, and as we got deeper in long-range hit scan, wasn't so much of a priority. You're having two, really. They used Architect on the Widowmaker, and I've had many conversations with Baby Bay over the last couple of years, and I know he tells me all the time he learned a lot about positioning from Architect. He learned a lot about the game from Krusty, really had a lot of respect for him as a coach. But because we started this year in this meta, we haven't seen him able to play his signature heroes, and it looks like he might be coming in and playing some Zarya for us today. So this is what we want to see from Baby Bay.
True enough. Let's take a look at our Toyota map pool here, see what we're going to be playing in for our match between these two teams. Well, you saw it. Hope you read it fast. We're going to Lijiang Tower. We're getting into the games fast today, man. We got a time, we got a clock, we got to be on.
That's right. Lijiang Tower, and we are going to start here on Night Market. So this is a map point, rather, that we should still be seeing a lot of Reinhardt 3-3, but...
Yeah, probably. Although, if there are any teams that are probably going to play something different, Atlanta Reign certainly favoring a lot of different looks, especially on some control points on maps like Ilios last stage. So we'll see if they stick with this. Erster swapping from the Batiste over to the Brigida at the end. Looks like they're going to go for the Winston 3-3. Boston Uprising with a bit of a different look.
Yeah,
Vara and the Sombra here.
Reign is going to have to switch immediately. I mean, they have to go back and see this. They probably want to play with the Batiste or even switching over to a Pharah, and maybe they on a Sombra, in fact. Some big moves.
Wow.
Both teams are swapping up right now. Boston also running back to spawn.
And more swaps again. Dogman over to the Zenyatta now. Erster back on the Brigida after a quick swap themselves. And when the dust settles, it is going to be Winston 3-3 versus Ryan 3-3. Baby Bay walking in there right away with that Zarya. Getting a lot of good charge right off the bat here. It's been a long time since we've seen him in the league. Getting the first kill, though, in this round. Coming out strong for Atlanta as they just bull rush their way onto the point. Oh, yeah. That's a team fight win.
And that's a fight that, you know, not necessarily the Atlanta Reign should come out victorious. In fact, Boston mind-gamed them into running the Reinhardt 3-3, and that should be superior against this Winston 3-3 look. It's been a typical counterplay in a lot of the Stage 1 of the Overwatch League, but in spite of that, they're able to get aimed on early in the fight. A player who has been exceptional on this Zenyatta for Boston Uprising so far in the 2019 season.
Absolutely. Boston regrouping, jumping down. They're going to try to get a bit of an angle on a Pokepo. Reign got, though, a little bit low here. Atlanta Reign really putting the pressure on, man. They've got them a little bit separated. Fusion's peeled off and taken down, and that's going to be Boston having to reset again.
And you never, if you're running the Winston 3-3, want to fight on the point. You need to intercept people and carve them off, because the Reinhardt, if you're playing into the hammer, does so much damage to your team. So Atlanta intelligently using the Primal Rage to siphon off the players of the Boston Uprising, and they get that first elimination. Here we go again.
Baby Bay's got the grab now, too. Another worry for Boston here. He's going to toss it in. He gets eaten, though, by RCK. Ready for it on the Diva. We talked about that decision-making with Baby Bay, and that was a very telegraphed grab, and Atlanta might pay for it here. The fight's still going. Transcendence might be able to save them here. Trance on both sides. Self-destruct not getting a whole lot. Fusions does go for the Earth Shatter. Manages to push Reign back a little bit. Boston still hasn't flipped the point. They're going for it now, but Fusions is down, and there's a double kill from RCK. That's exactly what the Boston Uprising needed. Colorhex, though, taking himself out in the process of all this, but it looks like he's going to be able to claim the point in the end.
But in spite of that, Joe, you see that they got up to 76% there.
Yeah.
So it actually is within one-fight territory for the Atlanta Reign currently. So the stall was good enough that they're going to have a chance to build up another grab. Maybe they already has another Graviton Surge.
I mean, if you look at the percentages for Atlanta Reign's ultimates right now, they are looking a lot better than Boston. So I think they're feeling pretty confident coming in here. Spoken a little bit, Baby Bay hoping to redeem himself with this Graviton Surge. Finds an angle, doesn't get it eaten that time. Popo just completely choosing them, using them like a punching bag. Choosing them like a punching bag. I don't know, you gotta be choosy about your punching bags, you know? You don't wanna get one that falls apart right away. Meanwhile, Atlanta Reign do take the point back.
And right now, Atlanta's just been dominating so far on this point. They've got 17 elims to 8. here on Night Market, and we're in one-fight territory as we see Okpo here making the plays yet again. He's been a big part of this map, and he's just going to punch AimGod into the corner.
Oh yeah, and then you just walk right up on the grab, and nobody can move. Blase down already as Atlanta Reign trying to defend. We get to 95%, but there's a back cap going on. Boston trying to sneak the point away, and they nearly do. We're into overtime now, though. Atlanta Reign back on the point. Got to dodge the self-destruct. No kills there. Now just trying to force the rest of Boston Uprising off of there. The sound barrier comes in to keep Fusions alive for now. Ooh, Color Hex gets his grab eaten by FRD. Everything going Atlanta's way. And it looks like they're about to clean up this fight and take the point.
Okpo doing an exceptional job on the Winston here on the first point, and FRD holding his own in his first game here in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, good start for Atlanta Reign. We talked earlier about the decision-making from Baby Bay. One of those grabs did get eaten.
Yeah, but he has 0 deaths
so far, but the rest of his play, like you said, you know, we talked about his mechanics too. I mean, that's pretty much exactly how we described him, right? Mechanically very good, but once in a while, those decisions a little bit questionable.
Baby Bay is a player that has always had an extremely high skill ceiling. So if he can put it together on this new Atlanta Reign roster and become a major force in terms of the shot calling and improve his own individual decision making, now he's going to do very, very well.
Might be able to go from Baby Bay to like Toddler Bay or
there you go.
School Child Bay, maybe even Teen Bay eventually. He's growing right before our eyes. They grow up so fast, Monty. Boston Uprising bringing a bit of a different look again. Going for the Pharah. Fusions gets hacked immediately. Ooh, nice pick by FRD. Putting that Sombra to good use. Baby Bay on the Tracer now, getting to play a little bit of the DPS that he is known for.
That's right, trying to pull off a flank right now. There's still a Sombra creeping around the point for the Boston Uprising. RCK back on the hero that he looked best on stage 1 when he played for the Fuel.
Atlanta trying to grab the point first here. RCK in there stalling out with that Sombra. Baby Bay all over him though, forces a translocate. That's going to be Atlanta taking it first.
So we haven't seen this in a while though, lots of DPS, but this is the point on Lijiang. We are going to see this due to the verticality and the number of flank routes on the map.
Right. I mean, how many Pharah versus Pharahs have we seen on this point on Lijiang Tower? Probably hundreds at this point. Seen some good ones over the years. So we'll see another one this season too. Blase coming in now on that Pharah. Ooh, nearly takes out Pokpo. He's hacked as well. Pokpo in a lot of trouble here. If you look at that UI, meanwhile Blase on board with him still. Ooh, he gets FRD with that direct hit rocket. Meanwhile, Urster does take out Color Hex as well. The Pharah is dueling it on the point, but that's a rocket coming in right as the hack happened. Both Pharahs out of commission. AimGod taken down by Baby Bay as well. So Atlanta Reign clinging to the point for the moment here.
And the Hammond's coming back right now for the Reign. Pokpo has arrived. FRD still getting some healing. More players on the point right now for the Atlanta Reign.
Yeah, Fusion's not going to get a lot done there, yeah. Lost most of his health approaching the point. There's RCK coming in with the EMP, and that might be enough. They even get the res onto Fusions as well. AimGod bringing him back into the fray, and that's going to be Boston finally getting some control percent building.
I mean, pretty decent stall there for the Reign. Boston had to use a lot of ultimates. They're coming online with a Pulse Bomb now. Color Hex finally able to play some damage-dealing heroes after stage 1.
Feels so good. I love seeing DPS again. I think we're going to see a lot of that this stage. Color Hex dueling it out. Baby Bay. Be a little bit careful. Now he's got the rest of Atlanta Reign to deal with it. He can't quite do it. Baby Bay claiming the kill there. It's going to be the minefield from Fusions on the point right now, but the sound barrier for Atlanta Reign, they might just run right through it. We'll see. No, just trying to stay alive for now. Fusions gets tagged by Baby Bay's Pulse Bomb, rather. Gets rezzed immediately though, so he's okay. Urster just waiting for a chance to use his barrage as Blase uses his. It's going to be the EMP coming in from FRD on Atlanta Reign. Acronym City here. Atlanta still has not been able to flip the point back. They get close though.
Great Pulse Bomb on a Dogman.
Yeah, that Pulse Bomb. You don't see Mercies get caught by that too much. Color Hex is ready.
And yeah, Boston maintained control at this point the entire time, and they've cycled back for RCK for another EMP. So they threw everything they had at the point. Taking a look here at Color Hex again. Trying to get around the flank here, and does actually manage to make a nice play onto Dogman's Mercy.
If you're Mercy, you do not want to touch the ground, and that's exactly why. You're gonna get a grenade stuck to you.
Dogman switching over to the Moira right now, trying to get increased sticking power to the point.
No, he doesn't want sticking to happen.
He doesn't.
Got that wrong. We just talked about
stick to the point, not for the bomb to stick to him.
That's better, that's better. Oh, what a stun! Brigitte out of nowhere with the shield slap on RCK. You thought Sombra was elusive. Atlanta Reign denies that possible EMP, crushes the team fight. Boston Uprising giving it over. They do get over 90%, and they are going to have the EMP coming back, though.
Now, ColorX now wants to switch over to the Zarya. Maybe we'll see if he can have enough time. The reason why they're making these changes is because of the Moira swap right now. Moira is excellent against multi-DPS compositions because she provides so much healing, and she can be a little bit elusive there with the fade.
Yeah. RCK just poking a little bit. You saw just how good this guy is on the Sombra when he was on Dallas. It's going to definitely be a boon for Boston after this trade here. Boston Uprising back on the point, trying to tie things up on Lijiang Tower. They're going to use that EMP from RCK. Pokepo very, very low on the side. Can they finish him off? Zarya shield can't quite do it. Fusions finishes the kill. Dogman coming in now with the Coalescence. And it's going to be Boston Uprising, though, all over Atlanta Reign. Dogman just cannot keep his team alive or do the damage necessary. That's what happens sometimes on that Moira. Now Masa with a last-ditch effort sound barrier. But Boston will not be denied. Looks like they're going to tie up Lijiang Tower here as soon as the kills are cleaned up. Erster on the Hammond just trying to get anything going here. Looking like it's going to be Boston, though.
Yeah, definitely Boston is going to clean this up eventually after these last few stragglers come in. There you go. Boston will take the second point on Guardians. And I love what we see Boston doing. Because what they're doing is they're trying to get into the Rhine 3-3. That is the composition they want to play. That's where Fusions was so good. That's the comp that really propelled them to the playoffs. But you can see they're also able to play around RCK Sombra very well. RCK, only 3 deaths so far on either point. So he's already proving a boon. And you can see that Boston looks like they have a bit more flexibility in compositions after this trade.
I totally agree. I mean, Note's a fantastic D.Va player, but you know, now they've got someone that can be that good D.Va, but also, you know, flex onto the Sombra and make a big difference there. And we'll see who takes this last round. I knew this was going to be a closer one. I'm satisfied so far. Here we go. Ooh, wow, are you kidding me? Double main tank, Pokepo and FRD. Ryan and Winston from Atlanta. That is interesting.
So what the Winston's going to try and do is separate the front line while Pokepo swings away.
Sneaking around.
Yeah, he's going to sneak around the side. There he goes, jumps in.
Yeah, coming in now. That's right, he does get food, but he still gets a lot of damage. Fusion's down. They were not expecting to have to deal with all of this.
Clever.
And now Boston in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they're just going to reset.
Very clever.
Love it.
You see what happens right there is when the Winston comes in and drops the bubble, it provides protection for the Reinhardt to openly swing. And that means they can put a ton of pressure on the Fusions in that front line. And that's the elimination they're looking for. So surprise composition from the Atlanta Reign, and it does end up working.
Yeah. Works pretty brilliantly. FRD already halfway to his primal rage as well.
So watch for Fusions. He's got to stick with the rest of his team.
Gets stunned, gets separated a little bit. They have to pop that Transcendence to keep him alive. Atlanta Reign just backing up, letting that one expire. Now they start to go back in again. It's going to be the Earth Shatter. Don't even need to do a ton of damage with that one, man. They just push right through the rest of Reign.
Oh boy, you can see how Atlanta's playing around the bubble. Hold the barrier on the Reinhardt until the Winston gets into position. Bubble goes down, and then Pokepo is just swinging away into the front line. Pokepo was one of the highest damage Reinhardts we had in stage 1. He loves when he can use that hammer.
Yeah.
Maybe they also now sitting on that Graviton Surge.
You just get to mega protect the Reinhardt with the Winston shield and the Zarya bubble. That's crazy. Boston trying to get something done, but they're all caught the Graviton Surge. It's going to be the sound barrier trying to keep them alive. Oh, Poco gets a little bit too aggro there. Gets taken out. And RCK with the triple K. Atlanta Reign's going to be able to flip this one, or Boston rather is going to be able to flip this one now.
Yeah, I mean, that was, they intentionally wiped after the disastrous start of that fight. And the thing about Atlanta Reign's composition is they don't have the combo with the D.Va, obviously, for the self-destruct. And they sort of lack damage for the grab. So I think they should be playing grab to just bait out support ultimates more than anything. They're not going to get the big wipes.
RCK just trying to push some people off the high ground. It's going to be the Primal Rage now from FRD. Boston's playing it out patiently. Sound barrier on the Atlanta side. Transcendence on Boston side. RCK knocked down by that Shatter from Atlanta. Now the response Shatter comes in from Fusions. Boston still looking for kills. RCK gets popped out of his mech. That is big for Atlanta, but they got to keep Pokepo alive. FRD rotating around the side, dealing with the mini D.Va. Don't think he's too worried about that. Baby Bay so close to another grab already, actually. And if he can get it, if they can hold on for just a bit longer, maybe they can flip this one back again. And they're going for it. The double grab happens almost simultaneously. Pulsaria's down. It's a madhouse. Masa gets 2 even in the end. Atlanta Reign, it's a brawl, but they slowly come out ahead. They're able to flip the point here too.
And not only that, but they're going to actually pull out the self-destruct in the end as well.
Yeah. Oh, Popo just barely got his shield up in front of that self-destruct at the last moment. Atlanta Reign coming back in strong here, and I don't know if they were expecting Babybay to have that grab again so quickly.
This is going to be really hard for the Boston Uprising to take this point. Shatter is there. Babybay's still going to be very charged up, even though he doesn't have a Graviton.
Yeah. All right, going to be another Primal Rage from FRD. There's the Shatter, gets a lot of them. Popo setting up his team for the win on this map. The Fusions gets the kill on FRD anyway, though. The follow-up on the Shatter just didn't come through for Atlanta. Now they're shorthanded as they use that sound barrier. Boston Uprising, they need to capitalize on the opportunity they've been given here. RCK manages to help his team flip the point back again. Babybay, though, so close to another grab. Maybe they can flip it back here.
There it is.
All right, grab again. Can they get the kills, though? They flip it back. Overtime expiring. Boston needs to get there. They can't do it. And it will be Atlanta taking Lijiang Tower. Now that is my kind of map.
And I think that's a pretty good debut for these traded players.
Yeah.
Babybay, RCK, and FRD all playing quite well over the course of that map.
Wow, Babybay. Just seeming like he's fitting in pretty perfectly with the roster so far, man. That was a great map for him. Great start for Atlanta. We'll see if Boston can tie it up when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The Fran is here.
Motor? Dafra?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, we go.
Okay. Yutoru. Woo!
Fran is picking one hero we have not seen lit in the Overwatch League. He's on the Torb. It's hammer time. This is it. It's happening. Fran running wild. What a debut for him so far. Not over yet.
It's Fran. Good. Give me one, bro. Nice, son.
Before, when I was flipping burgers, I never imagined that I would be here. And it's great.
That is a really...
You get over the roof there?
Oh my. Oh my. What a play. What a grab.
Tosses in the grab. They're going to make it work.
He says, I'm a one-man wrecking crew.
But caught alone from the Fran. He eventually drops down, but he's found Boombox. Oh no, he's got in the cookie jar.
What a monster, just getting the job done.
The find as the Fran comes back in with the trace of the pulse bomb nearly going to be built up. In on top of 8. He's getting close to that Transcendence, but he's not going to be able to build it up in time. The pulse bomb comes through. Stellar says goodnight.
First time on the Overwatch League stage, so this is a huge moment. Do you have anything you want to say to your fans?
With the help of Twitch Prime, I immediately managed to pop off.
Well, that's all we have here, so back to you guys.
Well, we'll certainly miss seeing Fran in-game, but so far so good for the new additions for Atlanta Reign. I mean, Babybay was building grabs just as fast, and FRD looked really good. And they played that really interesting Winston-Reinhardt combo, too, to kind of superpower the Rein protection.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting strategy, and it clearly is also one that's specifically tailored for the Boston Uprising. When Fusions is such a core part of this Uprising team and you're playing against a Rein 3-3 composition, to go ahead, take out that D.Va, and then try and isolate that front line. So I think really nicely done, and for a player new to this league, I think that's a really auspicious debut.
Good start for FRD so far, and there's still 3 maps remaining here, potentially 4 if Boston can force that map 5. So we'll see if things continue for Atlanta. Because if you look at these 2 rosters, they're going to play really closely today. I think everybody was going into this one saying it's a really hard one to call. I don't really know what's going to happen with that. But and I feel like that map in my mind is going to be kind of representative of the whole series, where I think it's going to be close, but I feel it for Atlanta today.
Yeah, I think given Atlanta's play off of that first map, it does look like, they're off to a strong start. We don't see a lot of nerves coming in from FRD, so that's exciting. Didn't really know what to expect from this player at the professional level. And it's only one map, but looks solid so far. Yeah. And with Baby Bay as well, sort of an unknown quantity, right? Because he just hasn't seen play in something like 270 plus days, as we saw at the start of that last map. But I think he played well in his first map in a very, very long time, in his first map this season. And I think if you're a Boston fan as well, you're probably pretty excited about RCK because he does bring that versatility. And I think the trade of note to RCK is actually good for both of the Boston Uprising as well as the Dallas Fuel. And we got to see a little bit more variation from the compositions. Of course, RCK bringing out that Sombra again and doing quite well on it.
Yeah, a little bit more pressure on RCK perhaps than Note in this trade right now. I mean, Note gets to wait until next week. Dallas doesn't play this week at all. They get a little bit of extra time to get that practice in, but RCK in there right away. And, even though they did lose the first map, they still had a solid round with him, I think, on Sombra, and that's kind of what he's going to be able to bring to that team. But you know what else we're going to bring to this match? It's going to be a substitution. That's right. Enlayer coming in for the Atlanta Reign, subbing in for Baby Bay. So Baby Bay out after control, but I think that was a really, really strong showing by Baby Bay in that one map.
Yeah, and I'm curious, obviously Baby Bay, I think they're more likely to play him on control map because it's fewer set plays that you have to know really what your teammates are going to be doing, and considering he was just transferred over, may not have learned exactly how the team works yet, so better in some of the more control maps that favor raw mechanical ability. Yeah. Now they're bringing in Enlayer, who did have some interesting plays on Widowmaker in the first stage of competition, and we'll see exactly what he's going to be playing and how they're going to be flexing him into this roster.
Whenever I see when I look at Dogman, I'm like, that hair's a little bit longer today. One step closer to that bowl cut.
He's not escaping this.
We are not going to let him forget. Nope. Dogman, you're getting that bowl cut, man. We're not. Nobody in this building or on the internet will let you forget that. So Lijiang Tower going the way of Atlanta Reign. We're going to go to Temple of Anubis next for our assault map.
Likely we're not going to see too many differences in this map, in that you could still play Orisa, Widowmaker, but as we saw in that first series, bunker compositions with Batiste and Orisa and Bastion still going to be very strong on this patch.
Yeah. I think we may see a little bit more of the Orisa defenses on this map than we did in the last stage, and there you go.
Indeed, you are right. And something we haven't had a chance to really talk about yet is going to be the small buffs to Junkrat, so doing a little bit more damage with the grenades on direct hits. So obviously the direct hit damage, if they try and play a 3-3 composition, it's very difficult to get Junkrat off the high ground, and he will be pumping out a little bit more damage into the tank line.
Yep. There we go. So Atlanta Reign on defense, going to be trying to use that Junkrat to stymie Boston as they push here. Boston Uprising. Blase, swapping Hanzo at the last minute, maybe just for that Sonic arrow. We'll see if he sticks with it. Well, they could go double sniper here, too.
No. The thing about having the Hanzo is it does provide you the option of sending that Dragon Strike through the hard point behind the Orisa barrier. But, there's a lot of mobility for the Reign. You can use the Junkrat to hit the mines. So since they don't see a Bastion, I think that's why they're going to swap off of it. Be hard to actually land a Dragon Strike onto a damage dealer.
They will stick with the Genji, though.
Yeah, they still need to be able to die. Yeah, that's the idea here. Enlayer already nearly at that infrasight.
Yeah, and the thing is, Genji with that dash reset, you can really capitalize on some of the early damage from Hammond as he goes in and knocks people up, too. So this could be a combo we see a lot of. Atlanta Reign struggling a little bit here. Enlayer gets his ult off early, but if he dies, it goes away now. That's a new change with the patch. Atlanta Reign with a couple early kills. The Fusions, Mario stops Enlayer to the next life. Looks like Atlanta Reign, though, getting most of the kills in the end here. Color Hex low, tries to reflect the damage, but can't quite do it. Poco hides behind the corner, and he lives. Fusions went for the play, but couldn't quite finish him off. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah, one other change that came into this patch was that Enlayer's infrasight now ends when you eliminate the Widowmaker. So you don't have that same advantage for the rest of your team if you do die early in that fight. Didn't actually affect that last one, but something to keep in mind.
Right. A lot of changes. We'll try to present them as they occur, as they become relevant in the game.
It was irrelevant at that point, but we'll talk about it.
I mean, it's a relevant thing to know, at least. Don't argue with me. All right, Atlanta Reign drops the supercharger. Buff everybody up a little bit here as Boston Uprising takes a long way round onto the high ground here. Ursa having to backtrack a little bit, under threat, gets away with that concussion mine. And Dogman down. Ooh, Color Hex finds one early. That's big, and he didn't get to use his Transcendence either. So Atlanta Reign in a little bit of trouble. We'll see how much they want to fight this one. They may just want to give it over and save the ults, but Dogman gets a kill on the Kelix, actually, as he comes back in. How in the world? Oh boy, Dogman, you got to win this fight now. And now that the trance is gone, it's blade time. Color Hex, so he can't get any kills. Usually, Transcendence being down is a Genji's paradise, but not this time. FRD uses that self-destruct to push Boston away for the moment, but Plaze just runs over Dogman again. He's hit Atlanta's Dogman. He didn't even stop either. Oh, Kelix gets found by the Riptire. Atlanta holding on for the moment here, and it looks like they're going to be able to do it.
And Dogman made the play with the Transcendence. He decided, even though he was back in spawn, that he needed to get back in there. And that bought enough time for Enlair to get into position with the Infrasight, which then cut off the reinforcements from the choke point you're seeing on your screen right now. So Enlair, that was actually, and also got a chance to use the Riptire. So actually, turns out that trance to be a good play.
We're back in a DPS meta, guys. Here we go. Kelix down early. Ursa gets a kill. Color Hex finds Enlair. The Widow v Widow. RCK finds Dogman with that self-destruct. It was so sad seeing Zen trying to slowly float away from that. But hey, you just get caught once in a while. Kelix another one on the Masa there. And we'll see if Boston can complete the take. It's looking pretty good now. Not a lot of health left on Poco. Yeah, that should be about it. So, with 30 seconds remaining, it looks like Boston's going to get a crack at point B.
And now the question is, do you switch to Reinhardt 3-3 for this last point? Atlanta probably won't because they're going to have a Riptire to take out the supports, so they could switch over to the Reinhardt at the start of this, and Enlair actually going to make some changes.
Ooh.
Now he's going to be playing the Mei, so trying to wall people off.
All right.
Boston will switch over to the 3-3 immediately, resetting the ult economy on Brigitte, Reinhardt, and their Zarya.
Let's see what Atlanta can do with the Supercharger and the Riptire. Masa getting very close to the Mercy ultimate as well. FRD just got his self-destruct on D.Va. God looking for a place to put that nano boost. Here comes the tire. It's rolling. RCK out of the mech already. Oh, he finds Color Hex with that one, and that'll be Boston pulling back. That's fine. They didn't use any of their ultimates.
Really no escaping from that Riptire. And Boston Uprising clearly knew that was going to happen. Like you say, they don't commit anything. Sound Barrier would be really the only thing that could have saved them anyway, but with the Mei wall to cut off line of sight. Question is now whether Enlair will switch off of the Mei.
I mean, he's getting so close to the Blizzard, he's probably going to have it in the next fight if he lands a few more right clicks, so I don't know. It's such a good point-holding ultimate that it's hard to swap now. Dogman getting close to Trance as well. All right, getting aggressive with that self-destruct is FRD. Aim God backing away now. Couldn't keep Color Hex alive as he had to kind of save himself with his own grenade. That's a rough one, and that's going to be Boston having to wait a little bit more here.
It's a really interesting series of strategies that we've seen from the Atlanta Reign. They are really prioritizing divide and conquer.
Whoa.
We saw that with the Winston separating the tank line. And now here on Anubis B defense, they're really emphasizing the main play to provide that wall and focus down targets. So it looks like this is a strategy overall that the Atlanta Reign have planned coming up against the Boston Uprising to start off stage 2.
I mean, it's looking great, and you know, as we just kind of showed you there, the ultimates could not be better for Atlanta right now. They've been so efficient in terms of using no more than they had to when Boston's come in.
Fusions now has to switch over to the Reinhardt. Nano boost on the Fusions.
Yep, a lot of that had to be used just to heal him here. Now the tire coming in. Ursa looking for a target. Going up high, taking a lot of damage on it. It will be picked off by RCK. It's a bit of an optimistic tire.
They used Valkyrie very early as well, so Boston successfully baits a couple of ults out, but that Blizzard, still the elephant in the room.
Could make the difference. There's the wall. He's going to throw the Blizzard in behind the wall so it can't get absorbed by the D.Va. By RCK, Fusion's down already. Didn't catch a lot of people with that. That was kind of a tricky play from Enlair, but I think he kind of played himself in the end there.
Well, he did, yeah. He tried to get a little bit more, but they are going to get some exit kills anyway.
All right. Yeah, they make it work.
It ends up the same regardless. But really, what Atlanta's doing is separating Fusions. Because the thing about the Boston Uprising is they are very reliant on Fusion's shot calling. So if you get him away from the rest of his team where he can't see anything and he can't provide that level of communication effectively, well, you're going to have a lot easier time playing against the Uprising.
Indeed. They're starting not swapping off of that Junkrat. Sticking with it. Takes a little bit longer to build the ult now, but that's because of the primary fire direct hit damage boost, so it kind of ends up being about equal if you're a good Junkrat. It certainly seems to be just that. Color Hex now on Boston, getting very close to this grab. He get it. Masa uses the Mercy ultimate again. Color Hex looking for an opportunity to grab. FRD trying to find a way to eat that one. Gets used on the wall there. Have they caught up to them? Self-destruct coming in, and that's going to be one onto Ursa with it, but Ursa gets two at the tire. Couldn't dodge the bomb, but that's okay because he got two with his own ultimate.
There was no follow-up damage because the Blizzard had been dropped around the Graviton. Nobody could walk up, so they had to pray that the self-destruct did enough damage. Meanwhile, Urster straight into the back line with the Riptire takeout supports.
Great heads-up play from Enlayer. Protect his team with the Blizzard. Now it's going to be Color Hex with that last-ditch effort. Widowmaker, if he can just get a pick, maybe he can move in with a 6v5 for his team. Color Hex in a lot of trouble already. Poco slaps him down, and the invulnerability field not getting there in time to save that Widowmaker. The swap onto Batiste from Blase coming a little bit late here. Ursa with a kill onto Kelix. And now it's going to be the Transcendence from Aim God. But there's nobody left to save Atlanta Reign with a great hold here on B, not even giving over a single tick to the Boston Uprising.
I mean, that is a great defense from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Creative strats, they are debuting them today.
Atlanta Reign coming into stage 2, just looking pretty incredible against Boston. And Boston, obviously some sullen faces. We'll see if they can get it together when they go on the defense after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to Temple of Anubis. It was a rough round for Boston on attack, only gaining a single point. Just point A, Monty. Couldn't get anything on B.
Well, I think that's going to be one of the big changes we see this stage overall, is that last stage we saw a lot of assault maps go 3-4, 5-6, you know. We're not going to see that this stage. A lot of the changes in terms of the maps as well as the meta game are going to slow things down on Assault a little bit. We saw that on Paris in our first match of the day, and we're going to see it here on Temple of Anubis because, you know, even if Boston Uprising are able to win on this defense, there's still going to be, you know, a maximum of 2 points taken.
All right, well, Player dropping the Blizzard. Erster dropping the bodies. Let the bodies hit the, well, ancient architecture.
I mean, that is just a great play, though, because they countered the grab with the Blizzard. They already had a plan. for the rest of the team as they were trying to retreat as well. So, you know, really what Atlanta's doing is they're forcing Fusions either away from his teammate or they're forcing him onto the Winston because he can't play the Reinhardt into the Mei wall.
Right.
Just gets isolated and destroyed. He needs a way to escape. And, you know, we had a lot of questions. What is Fusions going to look like not on the Reinhardt? And we're getting some answers.
Yep, over on the Winston now. On the defense for Boston, Blase on the Batiste, our new hero in Overwatch. Atlanta Reign going for the Pharah composition. Blase getting a face full of D.Va. Has to back away here. Be a little bit careful. All right, vulnerability field down. People alive here for the moment. It can get targeted by the other team. That's moments where they're not targeting you, but it's looking good for Atlanta because while all this is going on, Boston has been pigeonholed back into the side room. They've already given up a tick and a half.
That's right, and they're trying to dive in now, but they're going to lose RCK's back, and then RCK.
Not looking good. Goodbye, Kellix. Blase throws down the invuln field on Kellix's dead body. That's gotta feel bad. And it's gonna be point B where Boston has to try to hold, but remember, as Atlanta takes point A here, they only need one tick on B to win the map.
Yeah, Urster going to get revived, and they're just going to push forward, power on. Now, Blase does have the amplification field available to, Matrix rather, available to him. Urster, with that barrage, may not be the most consequential ultimate, and Lair going to be looking for a pick here with a pulse bomb.
RD, meanwhile, there's the EMP. What can they combo this into now? There's a barrage onto Kellix here. Gets the Lucio. That's pretty valuable. Kellix still nowhere near his sound barrier. Meanwhile, Blase in the invuln field yet again. He dropped his amplification matrix, trying to give his team a little bit more damage here. Fusion's down again, though. Nobody able to really utilize this. And now Blase trying to navigate the minefield. It's not easy, man. Taking a lot of damage. Stays alive with the shift. But again, Atlanta Reign getting the kills they need. And they only need that one tick on the control meter to win the map.
I gotta deal with these respawns, but they're doing it well.
They are indeed doing it well. Goodbye, Kellix again. Maywall is out. Aim God just trying to last as long as he can. RCK did get the kill onto Dogman. That is something. Atlanta Reign, though, not gonna be really too disturbed by any of this. The res come in from Masa anyway. They don't look like they're gonna be pushed off of point B anytime soon. It's been an admirable hold for Boston, actually, but Atlanta slowly but surely getting the kills they need. Another barrage from Urster. It's fireworks that celebrate Atlanta going up 2-0 in this series.
The setups have been so good, Doa. The hack onto the tank gave a free barrage because no one was able to fly up there to deal with the barrage from the Pharah, and that sets up the start of that snowball into B.
That's right. Well, Atlanta certainly reigning over this match so far. We'll see if they can keep it up when we come back from halftime.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Uprising fans having themselves a good time supporting their team. Unfortunately, they're going to need a lot more of that good energy as they are currently down 0-2 to the Atlanta Reign. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here. We got Sideshow and Zoe. Guys, I got to say, I'm really enjoying seeing these new looks for both of these teams. The Atlanta Reign are looking great, but RCK, I want to point out him too. He's looking pretty good for the Boston Uprising so far.
He definitely is. I think most people would have thought that Note was a better fit for the Boston Uprising than RCK.
Yes.
But I think RCK is doing a good job on this team so far, and certainly can't be too disappointed with his performance, particularly on map 1. He ate a Graviton Surge, which was fantastic. Got a couple of kills with a big ultimate. He's looking like he's fitting into this lineup pretty well so far, Zoe.
Yeah, it looks a little. Actually looks flawless. I thought that it's going to be more notable.
I see what you did there.
I'm really sorry. I apologize on behalf of myself.
She loves her puns.
I do. I really do. No, but I did think that it's maybe going to be a little bit more rocky. Boston, yeah, they struggled in this first half. However, I don't think that was anything to do with RCK.
Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the other side, the Atlanta Reign. We had Baby Bay, who was actually taking the reins of Zarya during this match, and he actually did pretty well.
He did. Yeah.
He did very, very well. And we've only seen him for about 12 minutes in last season playing Zarya, and he basically hasn't been fielded at all. But he was really strong.
He was.
FRD as well. They both look really good.
New face on the stage, and I think he actually played exceptionally well. Not just on his diva, also later on the break, he really pulled his own weight. And I was really impressed generally with the Atlanta Reign. They had so many set strats for those maps, and they came in, they were prepared, and they were very coordinated. And that is actually kind of surprising, considering that we have 2 new faces in that roster. So you would think that would take more getting used to, but apparently they just gelled so well. So as we all predicted, Baby Bay, a great fit for this team.
And a surprisingly good fit as well, like you're saying. But he has been forced to play a bunch of heroes that he's not really known for. This guy's basically just known for his Widowmaker, his Soldier 76, and his McCree. So coming out here and playing a really good Zarya, look at those stats as well. Only 3 deaths, average of 69% energy as well. He really went to town on them on the Zarya, and also played a bunch of other heroes as well. His Tracer looked reasonable.
Yes.
You don't know him as a Tracer player normally. His Sombra looked reasonable as well. You don't normally know him as a Sombra player. So I really like this. I think this is Baby Bay now getting to shine.
Right. I mean, he's been waiting on the bench, so he had plenty of time to practice all these characters. And now he's out there. But unfortunately, he didn't get to play map 2, moving on to Anubis. And while we're on the subject of Anubis, you got a little insight for us, don't you, Sideshow?
I certainly do. So I want to break down a bit of this hold, which is probably, as Monte Cristo loves to say, the best hold. It uses this composition here for the Atlanta Reign. And it's kind of like a treehouse setup with the Orisa. But this is the decision from the Boston Uprising of how they want to break it. They're going to use a Winston and a Wrecking Ball and a Genji. So the Genji has to take a big flank around this side to be able to set up, and both of these main tanks are going to try and get on the high ground. They can either go here if there are people positioned, or they can dive at the bottom alongside the Genji. So after a little bit of setup, you see a bit of back and forth between these two teams. It's a very tough defensive hold to crack, but teams are now going to be running it more because you're not required to run triple tank, triple support. So now we get into a position where they've broken up some of the formation of the Atlanta Reign. They notice that Dogman is kind of on his own, and both of these main tanks have targeted Enleia as a position. So you'll see both of the main tanks come in. Fusions has his Primal Rage. They use both of their abilities to be able to get onto them at the same time as Color Hex takes a 1v1 against Dogman and kills him. But here's where it all goes wrong for Boston, because they do end up losing this fight, is that Mercy Massa comes in, gets the res onto Dogman, and Dogman is huge in this fight because he just ends up clutching, gets a bunch of picks, and then shuts down Color Hex when he has his Dragon Blade available and clutches the fight completely. But here I think you see the difference between the previous meta, where everybody was forced to run triple tank, triple support, and now where teams feel more comfortable keeping their ultimates, keeping the Junkrat for point B, so they can run these little off-meta picks and play what really is the best compositions available on Anubis.
Honestly, I was super impressed with their B defense there. I love that they stick to the Mei there. I love that they did play what Monty calls a divide and conquer. They did get those crucial pickups because they were able to actually split up the team from the Boston Uprising. And yeah, it just worked so great for them. I love the creativity we're seeing from the Atlanta Reign.
Makes me so happy to see all of our heroes back in the game. It's so lovely. All right, guys, so Boston, what can they do to turn this thing around? anything.
I think they don't look too bad at the moment, but I think they've got a couple of kinks to still work out with this roster. And what I would like to see them doing is just focusing on the fundamentals, just trying to make sure that they're synced up well together, that they put Color Hex in the best situations possible, and that they work on fusions because he hasn't been playing too much of that Winston, and they now need to support that.
All right, well, we'll see if the Boston Uprising can get back into this game right after the break. Stay tuned, everyone.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League, and right now, Boston Uprising reeling a little bit down 2 games to Atlanta Reign, who's coming at us with a lot of really unique stuff today that I don't think Boston or really anybody expected.
Yeah, and I really like what Sideshow showed us as well with the replay, because I think that's going to be Anubis' meta in a nutshell going forward. Having a couple of tanks with the Wrecking Ball and the Winston together gives you that mobility to sort of scatter and crack those defenses, but didn't work as well as they would have liked.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got some substitutions to talk about in this match. Baby Babe back in again on Atlanta, subbing in for Enlair as we move ahead to map number 3.
And now we know why Enlair was going to be in there for the Mei and Widow combination.
And Kodak subbing in for Dogman, a player that we haven't seen quite as much of this season. But hey, with all the really unique strategies that Atlanta's been putting together, I wouldn't be surprised if they had something specific for Eichenwald, our hybrid map, that involves it.
I'm just happy to see Eichenwald back in. It's my favorite map in Overwatch, Noah. I absolutely adore Point B. I think there's so many different kinds of compositions you could run on that point.
So the interesting thing with Batiste is that we see both the flex player and the DPS player that previously played a lot of Brigitte using that hero. So I'm wondering if maybe Kodak has been practicing a lot of Batiste and will be switching between him and Zen. We'll see. For now, Erster on the Batiste, but that could change, because that would make sense. If you've got 2 flex supports like Dogman and Kodak, have one of them really kind of hardcore practice Batiste. We'll see.
We will see. And
I want to see more Batiste.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Sombra and Tracer here from Boston Uprising, because when you don't have that Brigida, it opens up a lot of opportunities to get on the flank again with these heroes. We are going to see Blase switch over to the Pharah now. Colorhex going to take a shot here with the Widowmaker, and he will stay on the hero. So a lot of different heroes than we're used to seeing in Stage 2 already in this match.
I mean, this makes sense. There's a lot of heads to click in the comp from Atlanta Reign. Colorhex could have a field day here if he can get the right sight lines. Looking for one. Ooh, that was a chunk taken out of Kodak. Gotta watch out. Already Boston threatening this point here. Waiting for that Zarya's shield to end. Ducks the fire strike. Nice dodge there. Moving like an agent from the Matrix. Good thing they didn't have grappling hooks.
Well, they could just fly around, right? So.
Oh, they couldn't really fly. They could just jump. Like an early Superman kind of thing. Boston getting pushed back a little bit here. Aim got in a lot of trouble. Gets taken down. Pokebo getting the kill there. Mercer diving forward with the healing grenades. And right now, Atlanta Reign is trying to stay in it. Looks like they can. Nice shots from Mercer. Take a few chunks out of Blase up in the air. Ooh, a fist in the face of Aim God.
Got tired of missing those burst fire shots. Eventually, your fist is just good enough to finish off the elimination.
I can understand that.
Already has an amplification matrix online, so probably maybe trying to use that right at the start of this next engagement. Colorhex, though, with the Infrasight coming up. Barrage online as well for Blase.
Yep. Man, you can build that amplification matrix ridiculously quickly if you get to AoE heal a lot of people with the grenades and also with your shift. Pokebo hacked. As Atlanta Reign has to deal with that. Now Colorhex looking for a few more shots. Barrage coming in from Blase, but he gets taken out. Masa with the finishing blow, and now Boston moving forward here. They're using the Transcendence, actually. Mercer went ahead and dropped the Amp Matrix, but there's nobody really around to use it. Boston just pulling back.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything to use. The Amplification Matrix, Boston already on the retreat, so something they might want back later on. RCK still sowing some chaos into the back line right now, looking to get that EMP. It is nearly available.
He's got the high ground. Oh, now jumping down. Thought it was going to be the Obi-Wan Kenobi strategy there for a second. He loves the high ground.
He does love it.
He does. He just thinks things are over when he's got it. Aim God makes it over for Poco. Now the hack comes in onto FRD. Gets popped out of the Diva mech. Looks good for Boston so far. RCK might not even need to use that EMP. Fusion's dropped the minefield on the point right now. So yeah, how does Atlanta get back on there? It's gonna be tough. That's a grab used by Ursher. Whoa, that is a brave grab from Baby Bay, actually. My bad. Masa down. And I don't think Atlanta's going to be able to retake this one.
They're trying to just drain time off the clock right now. We'll see if maybe they swaps or whether that grab was a little bit optimistic. He's going to go ahead and switch up the hero he is onto the Sombra, so might as well throw that one down if that's going to be the call and that's your plan heading into your B defense.
I was going to say, if he doesn't swap heroes, that's a rough time for Baby Bay. But on the Sombra now, Kodak.
Yeah, so you can see they're actually just mind gaming right now. So they forced a couple of swaps for the Boston Uprising. Kodak was back there. He said, okay, if you're going to keep playing multiple damage dealing characters, I'm going to switch to the Moira to maximize my healing. But then Boston also going back into spawn, and now here we are. RCK still with that EMP, and that's going to hit a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, he got at least 5 there. Masa drops the sound barrier on what's left, able to keep his team alive here. Ursher coming in with the double kill actually on the Brigida. Payload still moving a little bit, but now Fusion's in a lot of trouble. Blase walking in, trying to equalize here. Gets armor pack on his team. Fusion's down though, so Boston without that Reinhardt can have a really hard time pushing forward.
Yeah, Poco dies right before he can get that Primal Rage. That could have been a difference maker, but instead, Boston continues to roll as Atlanta just tries to dive onto the card.
Yeah, you know, even with Fusions down, it really came down to, like you said, Poco dying right before he had a chance to get that Primal Rage and really stall the payload out. So now Atlanta will have to take the defense at a different point.
RCK not having to use the EMP to take A ended up being impactful on the second fight. As Boston still continues to roll forward with this card unopposed. Self-destruct going to be the engagement.
Doesn't catch anybody with it though. Atlanta Reign trying to jump down. RCK still behind here. Now the Primal Rage comes out from Poco, but he doesn't have a lot of health remaining. Oh, he got the knockoff! That works! Fusion down. He's looking for more. Primal Rage so dangerous near that bridge. Nobody crosses that bridge without Poco's say-so.
That's a good self-destruct actually on the high ground because it cleared them off, pushed them towards the bridge, which then set up the Primal Rage elimination onto Fusion. So great planning there from Atlanta.
Not bad at all. Getting in position to try to roast people as they walk out the door, build that ultimate up even quicker. Yeah, gets a lot of percentage from hitting that many people. Already halfway to another Primal Rage.
I mean, we're still on that divide and conquer. This is Atlanta Reign's plan. They are splitting up the Uprising.
Grab onto Rain right now. They're trying to keep Baby Bay up, but they can't quite do it. Even the Transcendence from Kodak, not enough to keep his Zarya alive. Now FRD knocked out of the mech. It's going to be the Transcendence from Aim God as Boston continues to push his payload. Atlanta Reign falling back for the moment.
Trying to wait right now. They only have the rally. Can they get a couple of other ults online? They are so close, or are they just going to give it up?
That's right. Time to hack the world. Here we go. Hits a lot of people with that one right now. Popo down immediately. Couldn't keep the Winston alive. Going to be the sound barrier from Boston as well to just kind of seal the deal. It's going to be Masa using his own sound barrier to try to keep Atlanta in this one. They've got the grab though on the Boston side. Self-destruct, not getting anything, but Color Hex on Boston, getting 3 and setting up the end of point B.
Yeah, no pressure on the Fusion's Reinhardt, so he's easily able to shield off that self-destruct in spite of the Graviton Surge. Color Hex unopposed as he's able to drop a lot of those big alternate fire grenades from Zarya into the clustered mass of Atlanta Reign players.
And you do that and then you melee swing to maximize the damage, and man, certainly did a lot of it. Atlanta Reign trying to take position on the payload again. Shove Boston back through that door, but Popo continuously low health in the series. Using that Primal Rage again, they've got Fusion separated. This is exactly what they wanted to do. Can they finish off the Rhine though? So close, they gotta complete that kill. Aim got down, they got him there. Took a while though.
Playing around the chokes yet again, trying to isolate these members of the Uprising. Popo's Primal Rages have been very good this series.
You deal with it like you deal with any Uprising. You isolate the leaders, take them out,
That's
and it kind of falls apart, yeah.
Doe has crushed some rebellions in his time.
I learned from the best. You'd think everybody would be doing this game's Uprising. There you go. Grab now from Baby Bay onto Boston, trying to stay alive with that Transcendence from Aim God here. Popo getting so close to yet another Primal Rage, 95% right now. And, oh, he goes down again. He dies right before he gets his Primal. And now Boston with another big opportunity to come in. They pop their own grab. Getting the kills they need to push this payload farther.
Now they maintain the Earth Shatter and the Sound Barrier, so trying to keep the momentum here, considering there's less than 30 seconds remaining on the clock.
And Fusions has to have a pretty big Earth Shatter here.
Stall ults are good, though, from Atlanta. Sound Barrier and Primal. Primal should come out now.
Oh, Popo!
Got him! Stunned!
Went right through him. Wow. Massacred. That Reinhardt in with nothing to block it. He's going to drop the Shatter, but there's no follow-up. Atlanta Reign using the sound barrier to get aggressive again. Oh, RCK finds Kodak, though, with the self-destruct. It's not over yet for Atlanta. Trying to get a few more kills. Kelix gets taken out. Things starting to fall apart a little bit for Boston. Baby Bay's grab gets eaten by RCK. Good start now for Boston as they re-engage with Aim God's Transcendence. Atlanta Reign trying to struggle. Color Hex did swap over to the Soldier. He's going to go down, though, taken out by his own rocket. Atlanta responding with more kills. And it looks like this is where the payload stops for Boston. They got it most of the way there, but just could not complete the attack.
A pretty good distance, considering that they were stalled out on point A. Their point B push really made it for them. Popo stunned there at the start, but still makes the plays with the Rage at the end.
Wow. All right. So now, Reign on the attack when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
took them a while, but they got the job done on defense. Stopped Boston before they were able to complete their attack. And so that means Atlanta Reign, to win this map and the series, only needs to just complete as far as Boston did. Look into the eyes of Baby Bay as he stares intently at a screen.
Yeah, and we are seeing some interesting things from the Atlanta Reign. Whether this comes out or not will be a different story. If they are expecting an Orisa bunker composition, then this would be an effective strategy, but that's not what they are going to get. So I anticipate that we are going to see some changes. However, running multi-DPS is still going to be effective here, and they are going to keep Baby Bay on the Soldier, swapping out for FRD on the Sombra and Erster.
I like it.
With the Pharah.
Here we go. Baby Bay going to be laying down some covering fire with that Soldier from the back lines. Meanwhile, Erster taking to the air on the Pharah.
All right, Baby Bay's already been hacked, though.
Ooh, that's rough. Well, I mean, he's kind of old. He doesn't know how to use computers. Not too surprising. Gets hacked easily. There goes Aim God, though. Doesn't matter. The grandkids have come. They're cleaning it up. Baby Bay gets a couple as well. Atlanta Reign with an easy point. Hey, there's his style. He's back. He's back.
He's back. Tactically crouching on Boston. Easy first attack. Boston saw that hack, but Baby Bay got to the high ground where his healers were in line of sight. And there's no finish on that elimination.
True enough. Atlanta Reign with 5:40 in the clock going into B. That was about as fast as it gets.
It's going to have to be an epic hold. Blase now moving over to the Roadhog.
Interesting.
So they're trying to play the payload. We got it. We got it eventually.
You can't pay the payload. This isn't that kind of game, Monty.
It's not that kind of game.
That's right.
That's true. And so there are going to be swaps coming out. Baby Bay now onto the Tracer to try and disrupt the back line, but Boston's just going to basically just clog the cart right here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure there's enough burst damage to really get through because you have to deal with the Widow and Aim God's Ana from range.
Might be kind of tricky here. We haven't seen a lot of Roadhog in the league for a while now. He kind of became like a big ultimate battery for a while where he wasn't doing the damage, he wasn't getting kills, and he was just this big body that got shot a lot. Gave ultimates to the other team.
Well, they're trying to play for picks right now.
Yeah, looking for it. Gets hacked though. Not gonna be able to use the hook there. Still has that dangerous right click though. Color Hex does get the kill into Erster, so advantage Boston, but there's the hook you want.
EMP completely negated by the Widow dual win from Color Hex. Whew. That gave Blase time just to jump down to the payload, stop it.
Oh, Kelix gets 2 at the end of all that.
Yeah,
Atlanta Reign just resetting though.
They are.
Uh-oh.
The Baby Bay revenge.
You hate to see it.
So Pokemon is going to switch over. That's why he did drop the mines at the end of that engagement. D.Va. And now it's back to Winston 3-3 for the Atlanta Reign. And that means Blase also going to switch off of the Roadhog.
All right. Sometimes you can use that whole hog on the bridge stage to knock people off and stuff, but if the other team swaps like that, yeah, you really need to repeat in that situation. Fusion's gonna get stunned. He's got the nano boost, so goes in, trying to get that ultimate. He gets it just in time with low health, but he's okay now. Takes out Erster. That's the first victim here. Atlanta Reign, meanwhile, pushed back for the most part. It's gonna be the Transcendence from Kodak. Not gonna keep everybody alive though. As it ends, he goes down. Fusion's chasing. And there's the reset from Atlanta, so a fast point A, but getting stalled out a bit here on B.
Well, they did get 2 ultimates out in favor of 1, so Kodak had to use the Transcendence, but Atlanta Reign, that was an economy push for them. They reset themselves massively by switching compositions. And so Boston Uprising, they do commit some resources, nothing really too big, but Atlanta Reign was on the back foot when it came to that start of that fight in the first place. They're going to try and wrap up here, challenge the high ground.
Yep, going through the castle. Around the side, going to try to come in from the high ground now. Fighting Boston on the upper bridge. Kelly's in a lot of trouble, getting low. Ooh, barely got out of there. Gotta be careful. They've found a lot of picks on Kelix throughout this series here. Asa, the little poke post, gonna go and use that Primal Rage. He got slept though. Aim God with a great sleep dart. Now the grabs come in, and they get the kill onto Baby Bay. The knockoff nearly pushing some members of Boston in the pit, but no luck for Atlanta. They are going to lose another fight, down to 2:30 on the clock.
Such a clutch sleep dart from Aim God onto Pokepo, and Atlanta Reign making a lot of mistakes as a result of that. They don't want to be dropping that grab when they're in a 5 versus 6 scenario. Boston Uprising easily able to survive that, and they are looking great now that they are on point B defense.
Looking pretty unmovable for now. Still 2 minutes left for Atlanta, because they came into point B with so much time in the time bank. Now it's going to be the self-destruct, and that's a great set of kills from RCK. Credit, though, to Fusions, though, for knocking people into position with that Primal Rage. And it's all elementary from here as far as finishing that fight goes. Tried to get that kill onto Kodak, but he's going to have to be satisfied to go home without it.
FRD trying to go deep to see if he can get an elimination. Doesn't come away with anything, but as you say, Noah, there's a great plan and setup. Send out the self-destruct, rely on that Primal Rage to shave some more time off the clock as you earn a couple of self-destruct eliminations. Atlanta Reign, they really haven't been able to deal with Boston's high ground defense whatsoever.
Yep. All right, Boston Uprising dropping down now. A little bit of harassment from RCK. Masa waiting for a chance to maybe knock a valuable member into his team. Still has that sound barrier too. Double support ultimate available for Atlanta, but Boston pretty much on top of theirs as well. AimGod just got his trance now. And Atlanta looking really hesitant here. Man, so many low health member people on Atlanta at the moment.
Trying to get back onto the payload. Rally was already used from Boston. Didn't get a pick off of it, but they still have the armor.
Yeah, that's right. Masa looking for the picks there. Colorhex getting very close to the Graviton search for Boston. Only having to wait one more moment. There's the grab. Masa use that sound barrier. Maybe no, they can use the transcendence first for Kodak. Right, RCK doesn't get anybody with that self-destruct. FRD done with his two. Sound barrier used by Boston now as Atlanta re-engages. They've got their own grab, and that is a great set of kills for Atlanta Reign. That's what you want to see. They were able to save the grab until the support ultimates were used, and those were the kills. That's going to send Atlanta to the end of point B.
That's right, Doa. They baited out all of the ultimates over time. Great patience from the Atlanta Reign, but they're going to have another attack here as Boston's going to get there in time to force OT.
They barely make it. Got to win another one. Can they do it now? Popo gets stunned after he primal ranges, but there goes Kelix, the first to fall on Boston. As Atlanta tries to stay alive on this map. AimGod down. Urster finds another one on Tracer, but he gets taken out by Fusions. It's okay though. Popo grabbing the kills they need, and as Fusions falls, Atlanta will take point B, get another minute 30 on the clock, and now you are sweating if you're Boston.
It could have been a hairy situation, but Boston didn't have any ultimates either to commit to that. Blase now with the swap over to Batiste. There isn't pressure on their back line, so it could be effective for them. Only a minute to push towards the red box.
Yep, you can hide the invuln field around the corner, so it's harder to shoot. Baby Bay, though, close to another grab.
Charged up as well.
Yep, that's right. A lot of damage coming in on this one. They've got FRD self-destruct, too. Might be able to set up the bigger bang combo here. Waiting for it. Oh, no! He threw it right into RCK again. Oh, and then FRD! He's color hexes. Not a good day for grabs here on point C, but it's a good day for Boston Uprising, as they're going to get the kills to push Atlanta back here. RCK nearly getting D-Mech. Can they get the heals on him? There's going to be the Amp Matrix thrown down by Blase. Nobody really able to fire through it, though. Baby Bay down regardless. AimGod gets that kill. And just one more last-ditch effort from Atlanta Reign to try to make this happen, but FRD gets popped right on the mech.
And this is bad, Doa. They committed to that fight. Instead of resetting the Atlanta Reign, they decided to use the Primal Rage because Baby Bay was still alive. But AimGod, critical pick onto the Zarya, resetting his energy. Colorhex now closer to the grab.
Atlanta Reign, they got to get somebody there. Right now, you got to touch the payload. Can they make it? They barely do. Boston Uprising with some ultimates. It's going to be the sound barriers, the grab, everything but the kitchen getting thrown in to this fight here. Atlanta, though, gets a kill in the invuln field. Can they get the real kills now? There's a grab from Baby Bay. This one not eaten. Self-destruct coming in. No kills out of that one. The shield from Reinhardt got turned in time. Fusion protecting his team, but now Kelix is down. There goes Colorhex, and it looks like Atlanta Reign, despite the shatter from Fusions, might be able to do it right here. Self-destruct. RCK gets two! Really? RCK catching a couple people that couldn't quite get around the corner, and he is lasting long enough for his teammates to get back from the respawns. Atlanta Reign scrambling to try to win this series right now. Masa a little bit low, and they can't quite get there. Boston Uprising stays alive in the series.
RCK.
What a hero, man.
The self-destructs. There were no barriers on the payload. There was not enough to hide behind right there. And he pulls it out at the last second to give Boston the map win.
And with the way that payload is kind of rounded on top, too, you don't have as much spots to kind of duck behind, and that works out for Boston. They're still in it. Map 4 when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered.
Recent addition, RCK, saves the day in the most stylish way.
He did. He made the play, Noah. And,
okay.
And look at what he was able to do just with some Diva placement. Part of it was the heroes that were remaining alive. As you can see, Diva bubbles were down, crucially. So Baby had used both his bubble and his other projected barrier. You just can't quite find the right position to get out of line of sight. But there were no barriers. There were no Zarya bubbles left. So what do you got? You got nothing. You got death.
You got death. That's right. You win death. Congratulations. RCK, though, already definitely showing what a valuable addition he is to Boston Uprising, keeping them alive in this series. Really looked like it was going to be a 3-0 there for a moment for Atlanta Reign. But we go to map 4. We go to Gibraltar, our escort map, with this series yet undecided. Atlanta Reign could close it out with a win on this map. Boston Uprising, though, could send us to that tiebreaker map 5.
Interesting play from the Boston Uprising. This is going to be an attempt to pick off the Atlanta Reign if they try and defend too far forward.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't recall Gibraltar, there are a lot of shenanigans out of spawn, usually on the attacker side, to see if you can hit a hook, especially on a Diva who's scouting very far forward, and try and get a D-Mech or a pickoff early. And that's why you have the halt hook combination right here. I doubt they'll stick with that for very long, but they are going to give it a shot. FRD going to be listening for footsteps right there, and everybody's going to be hiding around this corner.
If you can hear the footsteps, you can tell what heroes are there. Oh, for the hook. Not going to find it. And he wants you to stay out of his way, apparently, too.
He also...
All right, you don't have to ask me questions, dog.
Blase is going to switch off. Color Hex also potentially. They're scouting right now to see if they want to. Color Hex goes on Zarya, Blase onto the Brigitte. So smart play from Boston, just making sure they know the enemy composition before they commit to anything. Will be mirror Winston 3-3.
Yep, and Atlanta Reign just going to let the payload go through the area that we have called the car wash in the past. And perhaps might jump down. So they're going to take up the defensive position in security. Security room on the side. Boston Uprising has to find a way to approach this now. Looks like RTK going to go up. Oh, Popo down already. Wow, Blase finding the finishing blow there. That is not what you can't have that happen if you're Atlanta.
Pogbo had no business being in the staircase right there. Really easy stun for Blase, and now that's going to cause the defense here from the Atlanta Reign to crumble on A. There's not a whole lot they can do. They're going to try and stall this out.
You can maybe hold on until your Winston comes back, but it's going to be tough. FRD popped out of the mech already, and Pogbo, he did come back, but he's already low health again. Kodak going to use the Transcendence to try to keep his team in it. Maybe with a grab from Baby Bay, they're going to go for it. They're going to try to make this work. Self-destruct, though, comes in from RCK. Doesn't allow Atlanta Reign to capitalize on that Graviton Surge, and it gets a couple kills. RCK, man, he's been looking so good these last 2 maps.
And that's just a misplay from the Atlanta Reign. You don't want to fight that. The D.Va had to take so much damage from trying to contest that payload. Now you're split spawned as Kodak is going to hit the forward spawn. So is Baby Bay. These are not high mobility heroes that are going to be able to escape, and the Winston might fall as well, and it is, I mean, this just turned into a brutal push from the Boston Uprising. Sometimes you just have to take the L and be patient and try and play where defense is the strongest, which is through the 4 choke points on the door on B. So that's a misplay of shot calling right there, as well as a misplay of ultimate usage from the Atlanta Reign, throwing that Graviton Surge out.
Absolutely. I mean, in Overwatch, you have to lose gracefully as much as you have to win beautifully. To me, another grab coming in. All right, sound barrier used by Atlanta to try to counteract that. Aimcon going to go down. It's going to be the Primal Rage from Pogbo. Meanwhile, both Winston's actually using it. Mortal Kombat in the ship, but while this is happening, that payload is still moving. Atlanta having to give more ground. They eventually lose Color Hex to Pogbo, and Atlanta Reign might be able to stop it, but that payload is nearly there.
I think Atlanta is actually really lucky to even be able to chase Boston Uprising back. Now they're going to take the really powerful defensive position here forward through these doors. You always have the Winston to react to whichever door the enemy team is coming through. Pogbo has to be careful that he doesn't get lasered to the face.
Yeah, or stunned again. I mean, if there's anything that Pogbo's kind of been poor at today, it's been putting himself in a position where he can get stunned by the Brigitte on the other side. We saw that a lot on the last map, and it's a little bit worrisome on this one, too.
Alex.
Baby Bay just roasting people from the high ground.
Here he comes.
Yeah, that's right. That's another one. Hey, Boston, Baby Bay is killing your team.
He's learned from Sinatra.
No
obviously,
kidding.
spending stage 1 on San Francisco. That was a very Sinatra maneuver. High ground Zarya beaming from behind.
Yeah. It's like the bots in the training ground are paying more attention to the damage they were taking there.
I mean, what can you do? You can only really, you know, they're playing the Reinhardt, so it's hard to really remove that Zarya.
Fair enough. You got Baby Bay dropping down on from high again, and he's still got that grab ready to go. Pogbo gonna get stunned for a moment, uses that Primal Rage. Kodak caught again by RCK self-destruct. So Atlanta fighting it short-handed. Now it's going to be the Transcendence for Boston. They're going to use the grab as well, and they're going to get the kills they need. Perhaps, shield up just in time by Fusions to make sure that there was no comeback from FRD's self-destruct. That's going to be about that. Maybe they used the grab in there somewhere, but Atlanta not able to win the fight.
You have to hold on to that combo. That wasn't a realistic play to make. You didn't have any way to displace the Reinhardt shield to stop him just from shielding off that self-destruct.
Yeah.
It was a bad grab and a bad self-destruct from the Atlanta Reign, and they had a brief stay in terms of stopping this Boston Uprising team on point B, but they have looked a lot less crisp here on Gibraltar.
A little over 3 minutes in the clock now for Boston Uprising as they push forward here on C. They're going to be happy with that. Ooh, nice shatter coming around the corner from Fusions. Are they going to be able to get the kills off of it, though? Not quite. They do pull out the Transcendence from Kodak, so shatter for a support ultimate, but they dedicate Kellex to sound barrier as well. So they're going back in again. That payload's still moving. Fusions going to the back lines to try to stay alive here. They're going to just wait out Pogbo's Primal Rage for going back onto the payload. So Atlanta Reign having to give more ground again.
Oh, look at that. Pogbo barely living to walk into spawn and get healed up. Switches to Reinhardt. Baby Bay in trouble on the flank.
Can't get back to the spawn room. Atlanta Reign having a big problem here. Color Hex was picked off by Kodak, so that is something. Maybe Atlanta with the respawns can push back here. They've got the sound barrier. I think they've got an opportunity here, and yeah, Boston probably gonna have to reset.
I mean, there's just not enough damage. Once the Zarya goes down on the side of the Uprising, they also didn't have a chance to use the Graviton Surge, so might as well just bait out the sound barrier and retreat. Walking up one more time right now. One fewer support ultimate there for the Atlanta Reign.
Baby Bay nearly at that grab, but it's going to be Boston's coming out first. RCK with the self-destruct, no kills despite the boot coming in. Now the grab from Baby Bay. Another self-destruct. FRD, no kills from him on the Atlanta side, but there's a great shatter from Reinhardt. Popo, no kills though out of that one. They still can't finish anyone. Fusion separated and taken out now. They finally got the pick they were looking for. And that's going to be Atlanta Reign winning that fight, getting the reset. Basically all the ultimates in the game used there.
This is still going to be a really hard hold for the Atlanta Reign. They have a minute and a half remaining. So on this defense, and Boston Uprising, they are going to get another cycle of ultimates through. Blase, you can see, changing the Batiste. They want to play the high ground game if they can. And they'll have more healing at poke range because the Inspire from Brigitte from Ursa is not going to engage until they get within mace range.
Sure enough, although aim got really, really low here, Atlanta just getting aggressive on this Boston team. Ooh, Color Hack just roasts Baby Bay though. He died and he still had his ultimate up. Boston Uprising pushing forward here now with Sound Barrier. Goodbye Masa, and with Baby Bay going down so early, Atlanta Reign is going to really have to scramble. They need a miracle to hold right here, and there's a wall coming down the amplification matrix, giving a little bit more damage, a lot bit more damage actually to Boston as they finish this one up again. Blase somehow got caught by that self-destruct, but it doesn't look like it matters. Only Popo on the point, and it's not going to be enough. It's a complete attack run for Boston. They are still really in this one, and Atlanta Reign showing a little bit, reminding us that this still is a group of people that have not played together a whole lot. You're definitely seeing that on these last two maps now.
Definitely some sloppy defense from the Atlanta Reign, but capitalized on well by the Boston Uprising. A lot of those early pickoffs, they turned into a huge amount of payload movement starting on point A when Popo got himself into trouble by getting isolated by a Brigitte stun and instantly killed, and then some very poor decision making about when to defend at the end of A led to a large push onto B. You can't make those errors as a team because when the payload can move so quickly as a result, it becomes really difficult to recover from that.
Yeah. Baby Bay definitely coming from the Sinatra school of Zarya play, where it's like, yeah, your ultimate's maybe not the greatest in the league, but you build them so fast, it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, he did have some throwaways there in this series, whether to a defense matrix or at the end of a fight where they could have been very impactful if saved.
Right. Using him in a lost fight. Not great. So, now it's going to be Atlanta Reign on the attack. Boston Uprising, their turn to defend. And if they can stop Atlanta Reign from completing a map, they will send us to that 5th map in this series. And you know what? Gibraltar's one of those escort maps that can be pretty tough to hold.
This is a lot of healing coming in from the Uprising. The Batiste and Ana combination is just huge. So Atlanta's going to have to switch to something that is going to be able to get that back line because they're not going to win a healing battle at poke range with their composition. They are sticking with this, however. As far as we can see right now, is anybody going to head back as they see the comp? I'm not sure they've seen the Ana yet.
Popo going in now, gets booped away, doesn't get to land where he wanted to. Managing to get a little bit of pressure, pushing Boston off that high ground. Perhaps back into the security room again with Aim God. That payload, though, still moving.
Well, with the Ana, they're playing for a high ground defense. It's going to be really hard to crack. So they're not going to really contest the payload until it gets the end of point A. And that's where they're going to have to challenge to disposition the Ana, but the sleep dart's going to be there if Popo decides to drop in. So now they realize this. They have to clear off the high ground first, hence the long flank.
Yep. Now Popo, a little bit of pressure onto him. Kelix has to stay safe here. Definitely vulnerable to the dive. All right.
Oh, I got eaten.
Yep, that biotic grenade not doing anything for Kelix there. Let's back away now. Hit bomb field out, trying to stay alive. And there's the amplification matrix dropped by Blase. Can't really get the damage done with it though. That payload's just going to keep moving. I mean, if you got to get on the payload at some point. Yeah, you got a lot of damage from the high ground, but they just basically let Atlanta push through that.
Well, Atlanta's rotation was very good, right? They got the payload into the right position and then rotated around so they could use the corner to cut off line of sight. And the problem that Boston Uprising had is if they dropped down, Popo had Primal. So this is going to be a really late kill on the Color Hex, obviously giving them tons of movement.
Yeah.
So with Primal on the Atlanta Reign, Pokemon had a lot of options if they dropped to separate them. Boston Uprising knew that. They sort of had to take the L there.
Yeah. Saved a couple ultimates in the process. They did use Sound Barrier, but they still have Transcendence for Aim God. Everybody grouped up in the corner now. And Pokepo just kind of roasting people from above. He's got that ultimate ready to go. Speaking of ultimates.
This positioning is so reminiscent of Sinatra from David Bay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're going to play Zarya like anybody, he's a good choice. Masa, though, caught by RCK's self-destruct. Here comes one from FRD, and he kills maybe from that one. No fusions, a little bit low. Gets finished off by Kodak. Nice shot. Get that kill on the Winston in the end here. Gets another one, too, onto Aim God. Kodak popping up a little bit here. Baby Bay finishes another one. It looks like Atlanta Reign, despite the amp matrix from Boston, set themselves up to take point B.
Yeah, Baby Bay with the solo grab onto the fusions on the Winston right there in the Primal Rage. They isolate the tank, kill him, and Color Hex, split spawn.
Oh, that's so rough, man. Sometimes when you get that point as a defender, you respawn right before the enemy takes it, then you're way too far forward. That's a bummer.
And look at this, 5 minutes now. For this point C take, that is a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah.
RCK switching back to the Sombra, trying to disrupt the backline of the Atlanta Reign one more time. Atlanta happy to keep running, Winston 3-3.
You can get a lot of good angles for EMPs with Sombra on this point too, so I'm not surprised he's making that switch. It's probably a good one. Hack on Masa already, who has that sound barrier, so if you can hack one of the supports with the ultimates, that could be big. There's the sound barrier now coming in. Masa down as well. Atlanta Reign uses the Transcendence, but they're gonna have to fight that 5v6, and that's not a fight you can win. They gotta reset. They've got plenty of time. They don't need to be desperate.
Yeah, Masa, as you say, after the hack right there, it does force them to use the Transcendence, but Boston trading support ult for support ult when they have respawn advantage, you can get back quicker.
Yeah.
They will definitely take that.
RCK getting closer and closer to that EMP too. Go, rally from Mercer as Atlanta Reign charges forward. A lot of damage onto Pokepo. He does Primal Rage, but he's kind of sitting there now, half health. Trying to find any picks, any knockoffs. Baby Bay gets solo grab. Can they get the kill? They can. That's big Atlanta Reign without their tanks. And they're gonna hold, but again, still 4 minutes in the time bank for Atlanta Reign. But now Boston building up a big ultimate bank to try to use efficiently.
Yep, they've been using their ults very efficiently in these engagements. They won that fight with basically just a Graviton Surge as the big ultimate of note. RCK can now cycle his EMP opposite of the Graviton Surge.
Yep.
They've already pulled off about 1.5 minutes off the clock.
Get a good position to use it. Get an EMP, 5 people. Masa gets the sound barrier off just in time. Now the shatter comes down. No way to block that one, and it's gonna be Boston getting the kills anyway. And that's how you do it, man. Even though they didn't hit the Lucio, even though the extra shielding came through, that Earth Shatter from Fusions was completely unopposed.
Well, the thing about it is Kodak got his shields wiped out, and so did Baby Bay. So
yeah.
Kodak, however, was not in range, looked like, of the sound barrier. He becomes the sitting duck as everybody tries to save Baby Bay. Once half his HP is stripped away. Boston, though, win that fight with just the Shatter and the EMP.
RCK is going to be so annoying on this point. That bridge up there makes it tough to get rid of the Sombra. Pokepo a little bit low already. There's the grab, though, from Baby Bay. And they get the kill here. We'll see. Now grab comes in from Boston. No kills from either side on that one. Support ults doing their job, but there's a Shatter on diffusions from Pokepo. RCK down. Got him with the Earth Shatter. And Atlanta Reign, they're getting the kills they need here. Another one on diffusions. Now it's all about handling the respawns. And on this map, when everybody is so bottled up, it's not hard to do. The payload rolls through, and a much better time bank for Atlanta.
Absolutely. And with about 30 seconds left from the Uprising, they will be rounded up to a minute. They will be first on the attack, and that leaves 2:46 for Atlanta.
Not bad at all. Quick break, and when we come back, the time bank rounds, do not miss it. down to this time bank rounds on Gibraltar, our escort map. And as you can see, Atlanta Reign with a lot more time in the time bank. 2 minutes, 46 seconds versus the 1 minute for Boston Uprising. Boston going to be attacking first. See if they can stay alive and send us to map 5. I've been accidentally rhyming a lot today, Monty, haven't I?
You never accidentally rhyme, Noah.
You know, sometimes I do. I know people don't think it, but sometimes it just happens.
You've got that rap flow deep within your soul.
That's true. I've always thought that about myself. Thank you. Boston on the attack. They got to get a lot done with a little. Not a big time bank here.
And we are going to be looking at mirror compositions, so no shenanigans coming out from either team. So we'll pop up there with the Zarya bubble to provide a little bit of extra energy on the side of the Uprising. And as we're going to see, there should be a drop-down defense here from the Reign. They're not going to let this cart roll unimpeded to the end of point A.
They shouldn't, at least. There we go. Now the drop-down from Atlanta Reign. What can they get out of it? Aim got really low, and Popo's going to chase him down. Blase, the one to get the kill onto Kodak, though. Wrong Zenyatta going down, in Atlanta's opinion. They do get aim god, though. The respawn's coming in. Baby Bay.
Uh-oh, Baby
Actually
Bay.
getting a lot of kills here. He is not that charged up, but he is still doing a lot of damage. Gotta try to stop that payload, though. It's stopped now. Color Hex bounces FRD out of the mech. It's all on Baby Bay. How long can he delay? We're into overtime right now. Atlanta Reign with the rally, trying to stay alive here at Boston Uprising. They've got the sound barrier, but they are in trouble. Self-destruct from RCK. No kills out of that one, but the payload still moving. You gotta get on the cart. Boston knows it. Oh, FRD gets back just in time. No, they actually got it there. They took point A. Atlanta Reign couldn't quite do it. They forgot about the cart. Blase down now. Maybe they can stop it, but it's so big for Boston to get A. Another sound barrier for Kelix. That's going to be it, but Atlanta Reign, I don't know if you can be all that happy about that one.
Well, luckily for Atlanta, you know, they're not going to get extra time by getting point A.
Sure.
Does push some extra distance hit. And what they did well right there was that Baby Bay separated Fusions from the rest of the team on the Zarya. Fusions went deep, trying to make a big play using the Primal Rage.
Trying to fan himself with a hot pack. That's not how they work, Baby Bay. We gotta teach you how to use those little hand warmers. It's not how it works.
Fusion's there, trying to go deep to D-Mech FRD, but as a result, it was just a couple of squishy characters remaining on the payload, which allowed Atlanta to rally the troops and get them back onto the end of point A / start of point B. So the gauntlet's been thrown now.
Right. Atlanta Reign need to take point A, but only need to push it maybe like an inch or two farther to win this series. Boston Uprising, 2:46 is the time they need to defend on point A. It's not impossible.
So it looks like Boston is going to change up their defense. I'm a bit surprised because they seemed like, if you really want a hard hold on point A, it seems like that Batiste Ana composition could do you some good. But instead, they're going to go back to what they do best, which is Reinhardt 3-3. And the Reinhardt is going to surprise them. This is going to be a trick play. They're going to fake like they have a Diva on top there taking a look. But they are going to see, I think...
Oh, getting in there. Aggressive and Poco evaporated immediately. Oh, you know, that was, all right, well, now you know.
Boston's known for their trick plays like that.
Yep.
You know, they'll come around a corner and Blase, he punishes Poco for using the jump early, gets the stun onto him, and now they're going to try to get even closer.
Yep. That's right. Running onto Poco again. They get the stun. Can they finish him off, though? He jumped away. So that one going a little bit less well for Boston, but they're still eating a lot of time off the time bank here. And if you defend this far up, even if you do get wiped, you still have a chance to defend again at the end of A. But look at that, Boston down already. 6v5 in favor of Boston. It's another reset from the Reign.
I mean, I'm not sure this is going to work here for Atlanta because they have to play onto the payload. And considering Boston's already there, they can't isolate anybody with the Winston. And Poco's getting close to the Primal Rage, but they need that up if they're going to make a play. So they're going to try a long flank right now. They're coming around the side.
Wow, okay. They're trying here. They're sending RCK out to, or FRD rather, got my Diva acronyms wrong there, to try to distract as they take the high ground here. RCK, oh, managed to knock Urster off the high ground here. He has to back away. Diva vulnerable on her own. Now Poco going in, going after Aim God. trying to finish him off, can't quite do it though, and now he's isolated a little bit. They do get the D-Mech onto RCK. That is big for Atlanta. Popo has a Primal Rage to try to stay alive, but he gets stunned now as he comes out of it, taken out. Oh, Popo still alive for the moment. Looks like they might be getting some distance here on the payload if they can win this fight. Goodbye, Fusions. It had to happen eventually.
I mean, they were just waiting for the Primal Rage. You could see that in the flank. That was a smart play by the Reign. They knew what their win condition was, and they managed to isolate RCK, and everyone else pushed off the payload so they weren't within range of the Fusion's hammer. But look at this, Toa. 40 seconds left, and look how many ults are online. Boston, they took the loss gracefully. They only used the Earth Shatter, and now there's a big problem for the Reign.
Yeah, so many ultimates for Boston Uprising right now. This is exactly what they wanted. They got that fight at the end of point B. Graviton Surge comes in from Atlanta, though. If they can kill Color Hex, it's big. He died. He used his grab right at the end, but can they kill RCK? RCK with the hero self-destruct again. Boston Uprising getting the kills they need one more time, and as Baby Bay drops, Atlanta Reign looking like they're going to have to play another map if they want to win this series.
Oh, yes, they are. Transcendence is out. They're trying to get on the payload and trigger OT, and they will.
They need to win a miracle fight here. Pokepo back again. Here comes FRD. It's going to be a sound barrier for both teams. Pokepo in the back lines, gets that Primal Rage. He had the ultimate available here, but the Shatter comes in from Fusions, and he kills out of that. Bolsonata's down. Fusions in some trouble. They take him out, and Atlanta Reign, can they maybe turn this around? I don't know, man. RCK gets D-mech'd. You gotta stay on the point now. We're deep into overtime. Are you kidding me? Color Hex gets the stick on the Popo. And Boston Uprising just may have found the pick. That Winston out of the way. They got a chance, but it's still a brawl. There goes Baby Bay. Atlanta Reign not dead yet. Maybe FRD with the self-destruct can do it. No kills out of that one. RCK gets another one. It's gonna be Boston Uprising, I think, at the end of all of this, winning the fight. And that is going to be map 5 incoming. Boston Uprising wins Gibraltar.
What an incredibly impressive display on the last 2 maps from the Boston Uprising of pulling it out at the last second.
Yeah.
They are so smart. We have praised this team's shot calling in stage 1 when it comes to desperate situations. Reinhardt 3-3 was what they needed, and they executed it so beautifully.
Another control map. The match will be decided right after this. on Gibraltar. How about that, man? We are going to map number 5, our first 5th map in stage 2. It didn't take very long, did it?
Only took 2 matches. We were very shallow into stage 2 before we...
Deep into stage day 1.
Shallow into stage 2 day 1. And we already got there in the end to a 5th map. But honestly, credit to Boston. We've seen this before from them a lot in stage 1. They make some very interesting audible play calls where they will change things on you. They will try and surprise you. And if you're not ready to deal with that, you're going to probably lose some fights and even lose some maps. So excellent defense. And honestly, Atlanta might have had a better time if they switched over to a multi-DPS composition coming in, seeing that Reinhardt. But they were a bit stubborn, and it ended up costing them in the end due to Boston's ult economy after winning the first couple of fights.
Well, it's like we saw a little bit of on Eichenwald as well, where Atlanta Reign, you can tell there's definitely still some communication bugs to kind of work out as they incorporate these new players into the roster. And certainly, you know, FRD and Baby Bay looking good individually, but there's definitely been a little bit of like sync issues between them and the rest of the team, I think, especially on that last map.
Yeah. It was a little bit of an issue, but we'll see how it goes going forward here. Obviously, control went in Atlanta's favor.
It did. It was close, though.
It was close. It was close. It was 2-1 for Atlanta.
Future bowl cut owner, Dogman, coming in for Kodak.
Amazing bowl cut appreciator.
He's almost there. You know, I think he's really close. And Lair. Maybe he could do the bowl cut thing, too, but for now, he's just subbing in for FRD to try to win this series here. And so Lijiang Tower earlier in the match did go to the final round, did go to round 3. So it's none of this is guaranteed. Like sometimes you get to a map 5 and you're like, uh-oh, this one team needs to be worried because they got wrecked on control early on, but definitely wasn't like that this time. Yeah,
and we are looking at what's going to be a 3 DPS composition coming in from the Atlanta Reign. And remember, they started playing in stage 1 on control maps using 3 damage dealing players, but over time they actually moved away from that. So this is a callback to the start of the stage, but they weren't the most successful with it. So I'm curious to see how much they've improved since the last time we saw them do it.
Yep, that's right. And Boston, you know, can they continue to kind of dig deep here? Less personnel changes on the roster, but still, you know, of course, trying to incorporate the new player, incorporate Ace RCK. He's doing a great job of that. We're going to Busan for our final map. It will be control, of course.
And Busan's the map that really makes sense if you're going to pull out 3 damage-dealing players, right?
Yeah.
So they are going to make that attempt here with Erster, Baby Bay, and Enlair. And especially on this point, with how scrappy and skirmishy it can get with the long sight lines, this is where multi-DPS compositions thrive. And
look at that.
Boston going to be doing the same thing. Aim God. Nope, switching over to the Ana, but Blase, RCK, and Color Hex piloting our damage-dealing heroes.
All right, let's see what they can do on Shrine as we get things started. Boston Uprising versus Atlanta Reign. Who gets the first win of stage 2 for both of these teams? Find out. Fusions. A little bit of AD spamming. A little bit of back and forth movement to try to avoid those shots. Oh, Popo finds Blase. Whoa, that is not something you see every day.
Oh, that was really weird. Blase was in the midst of all of the members of the Atlanta Reign and just basically got one shot there.
Meanwhile, Erster finds the kill into RCK. All right, that's something. Boston Uprising without their Sombra for the moment. It's going to be Atlanta Reign taking the point first.
We'll start building up that control percent. Not sure what Blase's positioning was there, or what he was looking for in the midst of a sea of red.
Yeah. Sometimes you just get brave. Here's Baby Bay on the Sombra, sneaking behind. Color Hex in a lot of trouble, gets back into his team just in case. Baby Bay nearly had that kill there. Popo down though. So Boston Uprising with the 6v5. Ooh, aim got taken out by Erster, but I think Boston still gonna try to muscle their way in, but not with a sleeping Hammond. Erster with another finishing blow as he took the early shot. Color Hex comes back and grabs 2 himself. Boston has not yet flipped the point. They're doing it now, but man, that was a weird fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. And Popo also didn't actually trigger the point there, so no stall. Does end up escaping just barely. Blase, you see right here, looking for that. Did he get the shot? Ooh.
Nice shot.
Very nice shot.
All right.
It's great to see those Widowmaker highlights again, isn't it, Doa?
I missed it. I did miss it. Where's Pine? That's all I gotta say. Blase. Closer, okay. Baby Bay has the hack ready, but they've lost Endlayer. Atlanta losing everybody here. Probably want to save that ultimate.
Nothing really you're going to be able to do about that one. Once your Tracer and your Wrecking Ball are hacked, you're not going to be able to continue that fight. Easy focus fire from the Boston Uprising. They're getting a lot of value out of their ultimates again. Boston hungry for this reverse sweep.
I think Rain looks a little bit shook here. They need to kind of calm down and tighten up everything. Baby Bay gets knocked away, uses that EMP. Can they get the kill on the Fusions though? He was
gotta get the Hammond.
Really hit by it. Okay, Endlayer down though. So they did trade 1 for 1. Now Poke gets hacked. He's got that minefield available. When he comes out of it, oh, he gets stuck! And he's down Blase. It was a great play on the Tracer, and Boston Uprising maintains control of the point. Atlanta Reign, they just can't seem to put together a coordinated fight.
It was a little bit of a panic EMP there from Baby Bay Doa, and they only managed to hit Fusions on the Wrecking Ball. And even though they got him, it was a simultaneous elimination onto the Atlanta Reign Tracer from Endlayer. Now Atlanta, desperate straits. Here it comes, playing some Sombra 3-3, switching Dogman over to the Moira.
RCK right there with the EMP though, hitting a few people. They get the kill on the Color Hex. Popo down though on the Atlanta side. RCK gonna try to charge in, and looks like Sound Barrier's out for Boston as well. Support ultimate dedicated to him. Baby Bay does get the kill on the Blase though. Oh, Fusion's right on top of Masa. A little bit too far forward there, and he is bailing out the Boston Uprising right now.
RCK making the huge difference. He managed to hack Masa, who is the only player on the ring with the ultimate available, denying the Sound Barrier and ensuring they're going to win this fight.
We're into overtime now. RCK get a couple cleanup kills, and Boston Uprising takes a lead here on Busan.
RCK, massive hack onto Masa. That gives them the opening they need to pick off the rest of the Atlanta Reign players, and it puts them just 1 point away from the reverse sweep.
Wow. What a comeback that would be for Boston. Atlanta Reign looking, they really looked like they had Boston's number in the first 2 maps, do a tailored strategy, seeming to be in action to abuse Fusions.
I mean, Boston, we know they have a very strong coaching staff. That has always been one of their greatest assets.
Yep.
And they're coming in now and showing what they can do with some halftime adjustments.
Indeed. That's interesting. Last time RCK played, he was reverse swept by Boston. Now he might be the reverse sweepee.
And he's had a very good day so far.
Certainly has. Absolutely. Atlanta Reign going for Baby Bay on the Sombra again. Lots of places to hide and hack people at Mecha Base here on Busan. Fusions got slept for a second here. A little bit down. Nice shot from Color Hex. Getting one onto Ursa to start things off, and Popo down as well. So Boston Uprising again with a very strong start on this round.
Yeah, you know, Ursa seems to be losing a lot of these battles. Color Hex is a player that came in with a pretty hyped up Widowmaker.
All right, here's the swaps immediately from Atlanta Reign. I think they should have done this last round, but things didn't go so well. Make those switches early.
I mean, Boston's also making the adjustments though. It's like they may be heading back. RCK still lurking in the back lines. Only 39% of the way over to
Whoa,
EMP.
Masa. It's caught again by Color Hex. Ursa gets hacked, but not make a big difference here. Boston Uprising up to 20%. Color Hex with another one onto Popo, really tearing things up on that Widowmaker. Now Fusion chasing down Endlayer with that late kill. And wow, I mean, what can you say? Atlanta Reign doesn't even look like they have any life left in them at this point.
No, it's all gonna ride on Baby Bay's EMP at this point in time. They barely have any ult charge otherwise.
Yeah.
And they have to play into Color Hex's Infrasight. Gonna be popped now as they try and congregate for the next push. Now they know where everybody is. There aren't gonna be any surprises. RCK still in that back line.
Blase looking for that pulse bomb stick. Looking around, behind, trying to find Baby Bay if he can get him. Ooh, RCK down though. Masa kills the opposing Sombra. Blase really wants to get that kill on the Baby Bay, deny him the opportunity to use that EMP. That would basically win them the series. Baby Bay still with really low health, but Color Hex is now down. Maybe a chance here. Baby Bay down. Blase gets the kill. No EMP available, but can the rest of his team deliver? I don't know, man. Pulse bomb thrown in. There's the stun though. It's going to be Atlanta Reign getting a lot of these kills. That minefield out. Popo healed up by the Coalescence though at the last minute. And just when you thought that maybe that kill on a Baby Bay was going to do it. Atlanta Reign manages to take the point.
Yeah, Boston has so much time, though. They're one fight away from winning this series, and guess what's coming out? It's Reinhardt 3-3 once again. RCK staying there with the EMP. It's going to be an EMP battle. This is so crucial.
You can have the nano boost as well. There's the EMPs coming out for both teams. Masa down, though. It's going to be Boston with a kill advantage early on. AimGod died before he could use his nano boost, but it looks like the rest of the team is going to be able to clean up anyway. Fusions with the double kill. The EMP from RCK a bit better. They're going to take it back, and they're going to be close to 90%.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Now, luckily for Atlanta, they will be able to get back because they have the Primal Rage.
Right.
So they can use the leap, activate Primal, get a double leap if they're not in range, but they look like they're going to get there just in time not to have to use it.
98-99, Boston Uprising into overtime. Now Mokmo uses that Primal Rage, looking for a few knockouts on the edge. Who got hit with the sleep dart for just a moment here. Now hit with the anti-heal. Can they finish off the Primal Raging Winston? They're going to need to because Fusions is down. Atlanta Reign turning this one around in overtime to reclaim the point.
Oh boy, though, but Boston's going to give that one up because look how many ults are coming online. They're nearly at 5.
Yeah.
And the EMP is there. So Masa has to be a very sneaky Lucio right now.
Well, he's had a hard time avoiding death on a lot of these approaches for Atlanta Reign, but they need him to not get hacked to stay alive now.
It's going to be really tough. Boston should have this in the bag.
Gonna try. There's a hack onto Popo. He's in big trouble already, and the EMP on the rest of the team. Popo the first to fall. The sound barrier comes in. Masa able to use it, but a shatter from Fusions may have set up even more kills. Color Hack just wrecking everybody now on that Zarya. And there's a retake for Boston Uprising. Back into overtime we go, and nobody from Atlanta really there to contest now. That is it. The Boston Uprising complete the reverse sweep.
And that's the power of Boston, Noah.
Yep.
Are they going to outplay you in team fights? Not necessarily. But are they going to outsmart you? Yes, they will. So much credit to them, especially on that last hold on Gibraltar to set up this reverse sweep. They are definitely a clever team, and I think Boston fans should be encouraged by this edition of RCK.
I think so too, man. I think RCK, as we've just seen, really kind of augments what they like to do, and it was a close one, no doubt about it. Atlanta seemed to really have their number in the first couple maps, and we took everything that Boston had to turn it around, but they looked dominant on Busan at the end. That's the kind of adaptability you want to see as a fan if you're hoping your team's going to have a good stage. I think Boston just might.
But the thing about Atlanta is a lot of the mistakes that we're making, I think, are coachable fixes.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
There were some mistakes in ult economy, there were some mistakes in compositional swaps, but this is something you can really look at the tape and say, okay, these are relatively easy fixes, and considering how dominant they were on those first couple of maps, they can punch themselves back up into form. That'll be a team, I think, that could potentially make another stage playoff.
That's right, and so Danny is down on the arena floor with RCK to see what his feelings are after that match. I bet they're pretty good.
Thanks, guys. I am here with the newest member of the Boston Uprising, RCK. Everybody, make some noise! Congratulations. This was your first match as the Boston Uprising team, and also you guys pulled off the amazing reverse sweep. RCK, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very well. It's always good to reverse sweep.
It really does feel good. And you played super well. I think you really popped off. Do you agree?
I do.
All right. And also, because you joined the team very, very recently, I feel like you guys, I'm sure you didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the matchup today. How did you guys prepare for your matchup against Atlanta Reign?
I think our coaching staff went through very well what they're going to play and what is their normal play style. They went through what new players they're going to have and how their play styles are going. So big thanks to our coaching staff for being so effective, and also the team, me coming in only having a few days practice time. It's, I don't know, incredible how fast I adapted.
Alrighty, cool. Thank you so much, RCK. Monty and Joel, back to you guys.
Way to go. Thank you, Danny. RCK, the humility. It's incredible how fast I adapted, but it is. I
think he played very well.
He's one of those players that can get in there and just kind of get things done on his own too. So like we said, fits in with Boston very, very well. I think that's a very encouraging sign for them to be able to win in a situation like that with a new player.
Yeah, and there's no need for humility if you're kicking ass, Noah. That's as I say.
true enough. So as if we haven't talked about RCK enough, it's time to announce our player of the match by Omen, by HP. Spoiler alert, it's RCK playing the D.Va, playing the Sombra, and wrecking pretty much.
I mean, he had a lot of very consequential plays.
Yes.
On the D.Va, it was a lot of Graviton surges that he was managing to deny with the defense matrix. And on the Sombra, he was playing so well around the rest of his team's ult economy, so great communication there, especially with their lead shot caller Fusion, who he's only been playing with for a few days in order to set up these plays.
Right, that's the really amazing thing is on the D.Va side of things, we're seeing Sombra at the moment, but on the D.Va side of things, being able to coordinate with his team to perfectly time those self-destructs. So again, another really great sign that this team is gelling very quickly.
And also, on the final 2 maps before our last control, it was his self-destructs that really pushed the Atlanta Reign off the payload in overtime and gave them the window to win. So clutch plays when it mattered. RCK, well deserving, I think, of the player of the match today.
That's right. Awesome match, and we're not done yet. It's going to be the Shanghai Dragons versus the LA Gladiators coming at you next. That should be a fun one, too. Shanghai having a 3-4 stage 1, showing a lot of life. It's a different squad this year. I think it's going to be a good match against the Gladiators.
I agree, Dara. I'm excited.
Come here. Hey, come here. Let's go!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Want to selfie again?
You know what's up.